the game.
Hi, I'm Kelsa Dickey, the CEO of the Financial Coach Academy and my financial coaching business, Fiscal Fitness Phoenix. My coaching journey began more than a decade ago with me helping people for free from my dining room table. What was once a little business of mine has grown into a 7-figure company that employs a team of people. My goal is simple, to help you fall more and more in love with financial coaching. I believe financial coaching is the most rewarding way to make a living. If you are an aspiring financial coach or have been coaching for years, I'm here to help you create a business you love that gets your clients massive results. Let's get to it.
Hey, Coach, we are hitting a huge milestone next week, episode 100. It is incredible how time flies. It feels like we just launched yesterday, and yet we've come so far. This podcast started with a clear mission to build a supportive community of financial coaches and mentor the next generation to create their dream businesses. Looking at our thriving Financial Coach Academy graduates and our active Facebook community, I'd say we're living that mission. But there's always room to grow and welcome more people into our circle because no one should tackle this journey alone. To celebrate our 100th episode milestone, we're doing something super special. A week-long bingo game with amazing prizes. Here's how you can join in. First, grab your bingo card at financialcoachacademy.com/bingo. financialcoachacademy.com/bingo, or from any of our social media platforms. The board features a bunch of ways to engage with our community, from leaving podcast reviews to sharing your favorite episodes with friends, commenting on YouTube videos, joining our Facebook group, and sharing the podcast on Instagram. And here's the good news. If you've already completed any of the tasks on the board that you can only do once, like leaving a review or joining the Facebook group, you can count those spaces. Once you complete a bingo line, submit your card at financialcoachacademy.com/bingo card to enter our prize drawing. So I just want to make sure that's clear. To get your bingo card, go to financialcoachacademy.com/bingo. And to submit your card once you've achieved a bingo line, go to financialcoachacademy.com/bingo card. We've got 2 fantastic prizes up for grabs. The grand prize winner gets a one-on-one private coaching session with either Coach Jill, Coach Jacqueline, or our systems and operations expert, Erica. The second prize is a $300 gift towards the specialty toolkit of your choice. And we will be announcing winners on Monday, March 3rd. We're announcing winners on Monday, March 3rd, which is coming up quick. Remember, it's 1 entry per person on the honor system. Let's make this 100th episode celebration something special together, Coach. Be sure to visit our social media accounts throughout the week. We've already started posting some of the top 10 episodes of all time and some other fun goodies as well. I am so excited now for today's topic because we're kicking off a special series all about delighting your clients. And we're starting with something that can make or break your coaching business right from the start, creating an exceptional first impression. When I talk with new coaches, one of the biggest concerns I hear is about how to handle those first interactions with potential clients professionally and confidently. So we're going to tackle just that today. Before we dive in, make sure to grab our free client journey roadmap from the show notes. It's going to help you implement everything that we're talking about in today's episode, and it will be especially helpful as we continue this series on delighting your clients. All right, now, before we get into the weeds of first impressions, let's talk about what types of interactions we're talking about. In this episode, we're going to focus on one-on-one coaching. I know many of you are probably thinking about group programs or course offerings, but here's why I'm such a strong advocate for mastering one-on-one coaching first. It's actually the easiest way to get started. Think about it. You only have to focus on the client right in front of you. It's simpler to determine what that one person needs and then deliver those solutions directly for them. And it's easier to delight one client at a time rather than trying to please multiple clients in a group program. Plus, and this is huge, it really helps boost your confidence as you gain experience. There's nothing like those early wins with individual clients to boost your coaching muscle. Here's something most coaches don't realize. These one-on-one conversations become absolute gold for creating group programs later. The more individual clients you work with, the more you see the patterns in their behaviors and questions. This makes it so much easier to design materials for group formats down the road. Once you've already nailed your one-to-one offer and program, there is a strategy that you can use to transform it into a one-to-many offer, and it's a much easier transition to make at that time. Now, I know some business coaches might tell you that you cannot scale or work for long if you only earn when you work. And while I understand where they're coming from, when you're first launching, the pros of one-on-one coaching far outweigh any cons. Plus, we're all financial people. We know what it means to invest part of your income for your future. There's nothing wrong with one-on-one work being your business model when you pair it with effective long-term financial strategies for yourself, something a lot of other business coaches simply fail to understand because they're not financial people. Now, if you're already experienced in supporting one-to-one clients, much of this information in today's episode will definitely still apply, but you may need to make some adjustments here and there. To start, let's talk about something that can make or break these one-on-one relationships before they even start. Ready? Here's a truth that I want you to write down. A confused buyer does not buy. When clients finally work up the courage to reach out to you, they're often already feeling worried, shameful, doubtful. Many are telling themselves they're beyond help or too far gone, and they are fully expecting that is what you are going to tell them, coach. These doubts create a situation where the client is looking for any sign telling them that they shouldn't be doing what they're about to do. If you can't confidently lead them through even basic steps like scheduling, it is going to put them on even higher alert. Newer coaches are oftentimes so worried about being pushy that they massively overcorrect and then they don't lead them confidently enough. Now, when I say lead them confidently, I don't mean you have to actually feel confident in the inside. You might be a ball of nerves, coach. That is totally okay. As one coach in our Financial Coach Mastermind always says, fake it till you become it. Hey, Betty. All right, so let's talk about 4 key tools that will help you present a professional front very inexpensively. The first is a professional email. I like to use Google Workspace, which is just $6 per month. This helps you to create something that instead of coolfinancialcoach@gmail.com, you get to use something like susan@coolfinancialcoach.com. Also, I don't actually know if coolfinancialcoach.com is available because I just made it up, but I think it's awesome and someone should go and claim it right now. That is my gift to you, whoever gets to it first. Is this a requirement? No, of course not. But it immediately looks more professional and for just $6 per month. Plus, Google Workspace provides a lot of other benefits and features too. After that, you can look to a business phone number. Google Voice, for example, is just $10 per month for businesses. This allows you to forward to your cell phone so that you don't need a separate device. So you're not paying for a whole separate phone. And it allows you to have a separate business line so you're able to protect your personal number, and it allows you to answer the phone more professionally. These are still what I use today in my business, and they work great. It's one of the reasons I recommend them because while there might be other options, these have been around forever, and I like knowing I can rely on something to be around for a long time when I sign up to use it myself or when I'm recommending it to others. Now, a really important note about phone calls. Let me get on a little bit of my soapbox for a minute here. You know, I like to do that every just once in a while. I know that it is tempting to hide behind email and social media. But please, please, please have at least one of your follow-ups be a phone call. Yes, coach, you are going to mess up. Yes, you'll hang up and think of the perfect thing that you should have said but didn't. Yes, your face will be flush red when you fumble your words. I have been there, I promise. But these uncomfortable moments are where the real growth happens. I am better because of these mishaps. Shielding yourself from the mistakes means that you are shielding yourself from the growth, and it is hindering your progress, coach. Like I said, when our clients come to us, they're feeling a whole lot of things. Hearing your voice is so helpful and calming, and I promise that they are more focused on everything they're feeling and thinking than on whether or not you are perfect. All right, soapbox over. The third tool to use to help you create a professional first impression is your scheduling software. Your scheduling software makes booking calls with you so much more streamlined. So there's no emailing back and forth trying to find a time that works for both of you. Instead, you can send them a link to your calendar and allow the client to book a call at a time that works for them, all within your scheduling boundaries. I use Acuity, but we also recommend others like Calendly and Dubsado. No matter which scheduler you use, it can handle reminder emails for you. It can send prep work for you, and you can even have it set up to take payment for you. Some scheduling software can manage contracts for you and all of your contacts as well. And this is all automated, which creates a great first impression and doesn't make the client wait around or have to ask for anything. Now, the fourth and final tool to a professional first impression is a professional email signature. This is the signature space at the bottom of your emails. Having a signature with your name, business name, website, and social media links, and your photo creates credibility. There's no question who the email is coming from. And it also shows that you have an attention to detail, and it makes every communication that you have with your potential clients and referral partners more professional. So you've got those 4 tools established, helping you create a professional front. So now let's talk about your 3-touch rule or system. This is how we handle follow-ups with potential clients. So let me break it down. This system has transformed how we convert leads into clients. You've got your first touch. When someone expresses interest, maybe they send a DM on social media or you meet them at a friend's barbecue, here's what happens. We immediately capture their contact information, email and phone. We send a warm email within 2 days with 2 days and times that you're available for your quick audit call or your initial call. More on that in a little bit. We want to make these quick, like later that same day or the next day or two. So the times you're offering up to the client, can you talk at 4 o'clock today, or how about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, right? You're making it really quick turnaround times. You want to capture their sense of urgency. You want to keep the tone professional but friendly. Remember, they might already be feeling vulnerable about reaching out to you. Be crystal clear about next steps, what they need to do, what to expect. But here's the kicker. Don't be overly consumed with spelling out every detail, coach. Chances are you are probably more detail-oriented than your client. Where I see coaches go wrong here oftentimes is that they're sharing too much information and it's a bit too process-oriented. And it just feels like homework or hoops that the person has to jump through just to connect with you. Remember, you want to be clear, but don't overwhelm the person. And then include your professional email signature, again, to reinforce credibility. That's your first touch. Then we can move on to your second touch, and we like to do this 2 weeks later. If you haven't heard back after that first email, make a phone call. Yes, coach, an actual phone call. And it can be something really quick, like, hi, so-and-so, I'm following up on your interest in financial coaching. And you want to address any common hesitations or questions that they might have. You can also offer to answer any questions that they might have about what you do, who you help, the types of problems you help people solve, and what your overall program is like. If they need more time, get a specific time frame to follow up. That's really important. That way you remove the question of whether you're being overly persistent or not persistent enough. Now, why do I say follow up in 2 weeks? Depending on the training you take, you may hear that you should reach out daily or weekly. And by all means, you can try that, coach. Go right ahead. But here's where learning from an actual financial coach can make all the difference. Guess what happens every 2 weeks for most people? They get paid. Guess when most people are stressed? Right before their paycheck and money is tight. You can certainly reach out more often, but chances are they're not feeling the pinch on payday or the days or the first week following that paycheck. It's 2 weeks later when they're running out of money and the next paycheck hasn't come in yet. That's why we follow up every 2 weeks. And of course, make sure you are leaving a voice message if they don't pick up the phone. Then that leads us to our third touch. And again, that is 2 weeks after the second touch. This is your final planned outreach. This is your last warm professional contact. And we like to be really direct here. So I'll usually say something like, I wanted to reach out one final time. This lets them know the ball is now in their court and you're not going to be hounding them. This also establishes your credibility and authority, coach. But we also want to leave the door open. I am here when you're ready to get started. You want to provide your contact information. Again, don't forget this. This is another one of those mistakes that I see a lot of coaches make. They think because they left their contact information the first time, they don't need to keep providing it, but you're making the client have to hunt for it and search for it. You want to make that as easy as possible for them to respond. And then consider adding value. In the meantime, here's a resource you might find helpful, or I'm going to drop you an email if you're making a phone call with this, which we like to do more phone calls than not. Then you can say, I'm going to drop you an email, so take a look at that. And you can always hit reply to that email if that's easier for you, okay? That third touch, this where you're providing value, is magic. We often get responses such as, oh, I'm so sorry, I've been meaning to get back to you. I'm definitely still interested. And why do we get these responses so often? Because that gentle, this is my last reach out, creates just enough urgency without being pushy. It also makes it so you don't seem desperate. Now, it's time to get on a call with this prospective new client. Here's what that could look like. First is what we call our quick audit. This is a 15 to 20 minute call. And you might want to give yourself 30 minutes when you're first starting, coach, because you'll get more efficient with practice, but it does take practice. This is your initial qualification call. So quick audit stands for quick audition. You are auditioning the client to make sure there's somebody that you can help, and they are also auditioning you. No coaching happens on this call. This is purely for determining if you are a good fit for one another. And you want to ask questions to understand their situation. Have these questions written out ahead of time. It can really help you. If you remember back to our ultimate growth guide, which you can find at financialcoachacademy.com/ultimate growth guide. Again, financialcoachacademy.com/ultimate growth guide. The best design for this call is one where you explore the gap. What are they currently experiencing? What are their goals? And how can you help them bridge that gap? Is that what you help them with? Yes or no, right? Explain your process clearly. Have notes so you don't fumble over explaining your process. Please script this if you need to. Again, clear is kind, but also be concise. Don't overwhelm them with your process by getting too in the weeds of it, okay? If you can help them, invite them to book a discovery session with you and have that link ready. And if you can't help, have referral resources ready to provide them. Remember, you're the expert and leader here, so you are going to be guiding this call. From there, you've got the paid discovery session. We're not going to go into detail on today's episode on how to delight your clients here or within your regular coaching program, but many of the same principles that I've already mentioned apply. Have things automated, prep in advance, and don't overcomplicate the process. But I do want to talk about creating delightful moments throughout your work with your clients. This is where the magic happens, especially at first. These touches transform a good experience into an exceptional one. So let's start by talking about your welcome sequence. When someone becomes a client at Physical Fitness, they receive a next day welcome call from my admin team. For years and years, coach, this call was done by me. I did the welcome call. So if you don't have a team, trust that you can still be completing this step, and I want to encourage you to do it. The idea is to express genuine excitement about working together. I am so excited for your upcoming session, right? Remind them they made a great decision. Remind them or let them know exactly what happens next. And again, concise and don't overwhelm. Make them feel part of something special. Really cast a vision for them of just what is possible for them with their money. Because I promise you at this stage, they don't know yet, and they need to be borrowing from your belief. That is really the goal of this. Buyer's remorse is at an all-time high right when they first commit. So we want to ease that buyer's remorse by touching base with them. Hearing the relief and the calm in our voice and the excitement and enthusiasm really helps them shift some of that. Then, after the welcome call, here are a few personal touches that we use to surprise and delight our clients. First, our handwritten notes. Before the discovery session, you could send one celebrating their decision to invest in themselves. After the discovery session, you could send one that thanks them for trusting you to help them. You can also personalize this by referencing specific details from the conversation that you had together. And make sure you include your excitement about their future progress. Remember, especially at first, I'm going to say it time and time again, our clients are borrowing from our belief that more is possible. So share that with them whenever you can. Another personal touch are branded gifts. We send succulents, which matches our brand. They don't actually have our logo on them, but the idea is to consider something meaningful to your brand. You can time it to arrive at a meaningful moment during their journey. And of course, make sure you include a thoughtful note. Finally, you can also use social media celebrations. Of course, please make sure you're always getting permission before you do this, but then you could tag them if appropriate. And this is a great way to celebrate their commitment to change, and it makes them feel special while providing social proof for you. In full transparency, we don't do a lot with social media, but that's because I don't do a lot with social media, period. But I wanted to include it because I know some coaches, based on their niche and marketing channels, really like that option. Now, in addition to these personal touches, the value delivered during the coaching session should also be captured. So let's talk about your session follow-up system. The most important aspect is a quick turnaround summary. Ideally, you want to send this within 24 hours of the session, and you'll want to include the key insights that you discussed. Don't get overly detailed, but do list specific action steps as well as any resources you discussed that you would be providing them. And here's a bonus tip. Consider automating this as you grow. With AI now, you can have it recap your session for you, so you simply format it and send it to the client as opposed to you typing all of that up manually. And just a quick but important implementation note here. Now, I know that some of these things might seem like a lot. Here's the key, though. Start with just one thing I mentioned. Pick the touch that feels most natural to you. Master it, then add another. During your scheduled strategy time each week when you are working on your business, which is something that we talked about in episode 97, pick a new one of these opportunities to surprise and delight your clients and put it into action. Once you've mastered it, choose the next one and repeat that process. You don't need to have all of these set up tomorrow in order to help people, but you will want to consistently add these touch points over time. Remember what I always say, consistency beats complexity every time. Then, as your business grows, you can actually focus on automating these surprise and delight mechanisms. And this can look something like using that scheduling software to send prep work automatically or a follow-up recap email. You can also create templates for your follow-up emails, like I was saying, because the more clients you meet with, the more you see patterns in what they're needing and how you're advising so that you can begin to template this process. This does take a little bit of time, coach, so just try to keep an eye on it for the things you're saying over and over again in some of these emails you're sending. It also looks like setting up a system for tracking your touch points or having an assistant help with the welcome call or information gathering and sending. Finally, you can create standard operating procedures or SOPs for each touch point. That way, should someone leave or it's time to make a software change, you can easily maneuver through growth without all of the wheels falling off the bus. Now, save this episode and navigate to the show notes by going to financialcoachacademy.com/podcast. Find episode 99 and bookmark this page. Reference back to it when you're working on your business because surprising and delighting your clients is one of the best parts of my coaching business, and I can't wait for you to create it in yours too, coach. The more supported and cared for that your clients feel, the better they're able to focus on habit change and their own growth. It is directly, and I mean directly, tied to their results. And I wish I understood this when I first launched my business and started helping people, which is why I'm sharing it with you as part of this new series all about delighting your clients. All right. Next week's episode is a biggie. It is our 100th episode. Be sure to join us for our bingo game by grabbing your bingo board at financialcoachacademy.com/bingo. If you're not already in our Facebook group, Financial Coaches Unite, which is completely free to join, be sure to join us because a lot of the fun will be happening there and on Instagram. So make sure you follow us on Instagram too. Remember, the goal isn't to automate the personal touch out of your business. It's to automate the administrative tasks so that you have more energy for those meaningful personal connections. And if listening to today's episode has turned into you thinking, I don't even know where to start, we can help. Our very own systems and operations pro, Erica, can work one-to-one with you to automate your business and help you get your life and time back. Find out more by going to financialcoachacademy.com/systems. Again, financialcoachacademy.com/systems. And here is your action step, coach. Take out your phone right now and set a reminder. At the end of each week, ask yourself, what's one delight moment that you created for your clients that week? This simple check-in will help you stay focused on creating these magical moments consistently. I'll see you next week, coach.
I believe financial coaching is the best and most rewarding way to make a living. I truly love what I do. If you're ready to learn and see how to become a profitable, successful financial coach, check us out at financialcoachacademy.com to learn more about our online courses, free trainings, and events. As always, I love hearing from you. If you have any questions for the FCA podcast or to share your thoughts on the reflection question from today's episode, go to financialcoachacademy.com/podcast. And if you love this podcast, hit the thumbs up button on today's episode, subscribe, and leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean the world to me. I'll see you next week, coach.